Hey folks, how you doing? Hope you're well. Welcome to another video on the channel, and it's just a short one today. As you see, I'm on my bike going somewhere. Where I'm going is for another video. The purpose of this one is just to talk about the TCR a bit more. You've just watched that episode, the parkour from the TransAlpina, that fourth parkour, and yeah, that was very raw and just how it was. There was no acting putting on anything. It was just miserable, but also challenging at times. And as you can see, I got very frustrated. Bit of a rant about dogs and dog owners. So the purpose of this is just try and put a bit more flesh on the bones, really. So what I haven't told you, kind of things I didn't tell you in that video, which perhaps you didn't know if you wasn't following the race. So the parkour itself was 47 kilometres. It could be traversed west to east or east to west. It was all dependent on what the rider wanted to do, make the very route. That was the only parkour though, which you could actually in fact do that. And it turned out I was the only rider who did it east to west, which was the hard way. It was all uphill, 1600 metres plus. Don't ask me why I did it, because I've not got an answer for you. I just planned it out and stubbornly carried through with it. I should have. Now, what was the name of the place? Hotel Alpin, the CP4. I should have thought about it a bit more. I did stop in a restaurant there and had something to eat. There's like a Romanian village at the top, like a gypsy village, but also a restaurant, very touristy kind of place. And I had time to think about it, but it didn't register that, you know, let's turn around, go back up the TransAlpina, across that little small mountain, and start from there and run all the way downhill. Because you know, you can do a fair amount more on a puncher when you're going downhill. The same can't be said for going uphill. So that was mistake number one. The mistake before I actually started was not resupplying properly before attempting the parkour. I started it and got up like 5k, bumped into some other riders coming the opposite way, and you know, we chatted for a while, and it appeared they had been doing it since first light in the morning, and I knew that could have been a possibility, but yeah, it kind of dawned on me at that point, why did I go this way round? And promptly went back down the hill, tried to find a hotel. Well, I knew where there was one, but it fully booked by this point. No, it was just advanced bookings only, unfortunately. And all that was there was a couple of hotels, a few houses, but luckily there was a shop. So I took the opportunity to resupply food and everything. Came out of that village. If I find out what its name is, I'll pop it up on the screen. So at that point I was like, well, it's getting dark. Decided to head towards Parcour. You know, the usual dogs everywhere and dogs on the outskirts and stuff. And I just kept going until, you know, I was fairly dog free. I'd already eyed up a couple benches I could nip in, you know, I could have set up on and hired away. So I chose the furthest one, the better of the two, which was also the closest to the parkour. It's literally 2 minutes away from the bottom, so that was ideal. So I slept down there for the night, and yeah, there's all sorts of noises going on and things like that, you know, stuff in the woods, and just had to ignore it. I put my earplugs in, that worked. Following morning, third mistake, and it's kind of common mistake on the TCR, and that was enjoying my sleep too much and leaving a bit too late in the morning. I think it was 7:30 I left. It was probably light for a couple of hours earlier. I should have gone a couple of hours earlier. So jumping right to the end, didn't finish till 8:30 on the night time, or 8:45. didn't leave a lot of time to get to Parcour and the hotel and restaurant where I ended up, and that was by pure chance as well. So there's 3 mistakes before we even you know, started the parkour properly. Apart from that, you know, that's probably it. Let's just have a drink a second. So I got going, like I say, it was about 7:30 in the morning. It took ages to get circumrunted, the first 6 kilometres done. That's when I was like, oh, let's cheer myself up a bit, let's get the camera out, think of an idea, a concept for the video. And it felt like the toughest parkour in the TCR, and just that particular TCR anyway. And I thought, well, perhaps we'll just play on that. I've not done TCR before. Well, let's make that into a title, bit of a theme. And you know, I didn't really have to try hard to come up with that theme at all, because the proof was right there in front of me. It was a very difficult one. So 6 kilometres, quite steep, 10% at the bottom. Yeah, all that hike all the way up. And it started to get a bit greener, started to get the fields with the shepherds and those bulls and all that mess on the ground. And then it just got rockier and rockier. I did the wooded area and just loads of hairpins, and on my tyres and the gradients, because I did it the long way round, it just made it not rideable. So persisted, kept going, and eventually came out those woods, and the woods in the rocky area, into another area of the forest where there was bushes down the side of the road, trail with loads of brambles on them, and I thought, right, that's it. I've got half a water bottle. Let's fill some of that with those brambles, and took them along with me as well. That's a bit of a treat. I was concerned I wanted to have enough food. Only water supply in the whole parkour, which was probably a little bit over halfway. So of course used that, filled my water bottles back up again. Big mouthful of water. That was where I started to have a bit of a mental breakdown, because there was like another double hairpin, and there was no grassy surface, no gravel or anything like that. After that, it turned to hardcore, big rocks and things like that. It was in the grassy verge where sometimes you could go down the sides of it. That disappeared as well. Yeah, I got very emotional, and like I said in the video, I just started thinking about home, family and friends, and that's probably the worst thing I could have done. I know when I've been in bad places before with road acts and things like that, I've been a bit bored. What I tend to do is go for word-based distractions, things like how many states can I name that begin with the letter M. I did that once during the Moonrakers and Sunseekers last November, and talking them out loud, 2 o'clock in the morning, a bit bored. I didn't tell you the story in the video, I don't think I did. My lights failed going up the TransAlpina. Halfway I was down in the middle, no lights whatsoever, apart from my headlight, the exposure. So I stuck that on, I started climbing, walking, and there was a dog there, right behind me. I heard a noise going, like to do, panting away. I was middle of nowhere, this bloody cute little fluffy Dulux paint dog, and there he was. I was just chatted with him for a few minutes as I climbed the TransAlpina up towards Ranker, and then after that it was more hairpins, and I thought I'll chance it, and after that I just went slowly down the hairpins. I had my headlight, of course, it was fine, and I was thinking about those earlier pack of dogs that I'd greet in Ranker. Thankfully they wasn't there. There was no dogs whatsoever, completely different to the Ranker 2 days earlier. Shit. Right, what else is to talk about? I think if you've got any questions, anything I've not touched on, because all I'm talking about here was that final parkour. Now do hit them down below. If you want to do TCR, I hope any of this hasn't put you off. It's just kind of shed a light on what what it takes to do the TCR. It's no walk in the park, although we all knew that beforehand. Just adds a little bit more colour to the palette, I guess. Right, I'm going to start going up here in a second. So, on that note, I'm going to leave it here. Bid you farewell. I'll see you in the next video. Whatever that might be, it might be the kit video. Yeah, I'll share some thoughts over my kit. So I'm not going to talk about that and leave that one until then. Right, I'm rambling, aren't I? See you later. Bye.